The Prophet ﷺ was asked about this. What did he say? He said, Hum minhum. They are from them. These women and children, they're from them. طيب? So he said that's an evidence to what? That's his evidence to target and attack only women and children. That is his evidence. And civilians. That's his evidence. Naam. I'm not twisting words. This is what he said. طيب? Now, the problem with this is he has followed something mutashabih and he left off the muhkam. And it is illegal in Islam to use this kind of evidence. How is that? That is the mutashabih. We are not going to sit here and say, no, it's a weak narration. La, it's authentic narration. Naam. In Naam. In a Sahih, the Prophet ﷺ, going back to what he first said, they are involved in the war because they chose these leaders and these leaders go and do this war. Correct? طيب. The Prophet ﷺ, when he went for battle, he saw a woman who was killed. She was dead. Somebody killed her. What did the Prophet ﷺ say? ما كانت هذه لتقاتل. He saw this woman and he said, this woman was not fighting against us. Now, this woman, do you really think that she saw her people getting ready to fight against the Prophet ﷺ and said, everybody don't do this, this is haram? Or was she, these wives of all these kuffar fighting against the Prophet ﷺ, were they against the war or they were for the war and telling their husbands, go fight against this prophet, this so-called prophet? Sahulala. Which one do you think it is? Of course supporting them. But the Prophet ﷺ dispraised this act and said she was not fighting. She didn't have a weapon and fighting. Naam? That is muhkam or mutashabih? Muhkam. And second of all, this narration, hum minhum, they are from them. Az-Zuhri, do you know who Az-Zuhri is? Ibn Shihab Az-Zuhri is one of the tabi'een. Az-Zuhri هذا is a narrator of hadith and a scholar of fiqh, يعني كالشمس وضحاها. طيب? يعني Az-Zuhri is Az-Zuhri. That's all I need to say about Az-Zuhri. Rahimahullah. Az-Zuhri commented on this narration and he said, whenever he would narrate this narration, as is in Sunan Abi Dawood, he would say, then this was later abrogated in the Battle of Hunayn. The Prophet ﷺ abrogated this ruling of they are from them in the Battle of Hunayn. He is mentioning a narration of Sahih where the Prophet ﷺ sent a man to Khalid ibn al-Walid when he was on his way to Hunayn to tell Khalid ibn al-Walid, do not kill a woman, do not kill a child. Naam? Do not kill a woman and do not kill a child. Which one is muhkam and which one is mutashabih? Yani what is more clear? They are from them or do not kill a woman and do not kill a child? The second one. Naam. That's clear. طيب. So far he's using the sunnah, authentic sunnah. Naam. We're not saying no. طيب. Az-Zuhri is the narrator of the hadith. We have a fundamental in the science of hadith and the science of fiqh where they say the narrator of the hadith knows more about the hadith than anyone else. Al-Rawi a'lamu bil-hadith. The one who narrates the hadith, he knows more about it than anyone else. Because the asl, the companions and the tabi'een, is that they take the narration and they take the meaning of the narration with it. That is the asl. Unless we have something indicating otherwise, then we say what? Then we say this is contrary to the asl. So Az-Zuhri says it's abrogated. Naam. Az-Zuhri says it's abrogated. And for this reason, Imam Malik and Al-Awza'i, Abu Amr, Abdul Rahman ibn Amr Al-Awza'i, rahimahullah, he and Malik said it is not permissible to kill a woman or a child no matter what in battle. That's what they said. They said even if the women and children, the people in the battle fighting, naam, the people fighting against the Muslimin, they run away and they take their women and children and put them around them. And they sit in the middle to get away from the Muslimin. Imam Malik and Al-Awza'i said it is not permissible to kill any one of them. Not only that, but he said, even if there is a boat which is full of women and children and the enemy, it is not permissible to sink that boat. This is in Fath al-Bari. You can find it under the explanation of hum minhum. طيب. Wallahu a'lam, it is very possible that the narration is not abrogated. The ruling is still there. It is still intact. Hum minhum. طيب. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is speaking about what? Attacking a military who have civilians amongst them, or attacking civilians only? Which one is he speaking about? The first one. Naam. Naam. Thirdly, even if we said he's talking about attacking civilians, who is the one that used to send them? Who sent them? The Prophet ﷺ, the leader, the general. Where is he today? Do you see him? We don't see him. And they continue to hold on tight that you don't need to have a general to fight jihad. Where is this? Anywhere in the Quran and Sunnah. طيب. This third narration he used is, he said, وَنَسْتَأْنِسُ بِمَا وَجَدْنَاهُ فِي كُتُبِ السِّيَرِ. Now I want you to pay very close attention to that wording that he is using. طيب. This is very important. He is now stating that you can kill people. This is a مسألة يعني having to do with wudu and مضمضة والاستنشاق, or this is something, a serious matter here. A very serious matter. He says, and we also seek comfort يعني, and we seek يعني some solace in what we found in the books of Seerah. طيب. That the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a Ta'if used the catapult. You hear that? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a Ta'if used the catapult. Where is this hadith, ya Fadilat al-Shaykh? He said in the books of Seerah. The books of Seerah. The way that you deviate and the way that you take yourself astray and the rest of the ignorant folks with you is by building rulings on what you find in history books of Islam. If you want to screw up, follow what you find in history books. Because history books gather everything. Authentic, inauthentic, mawdu', stuff from Bani Israel, all kinds of things. So instead of opening the books of fiqh and the books of hadith, where do you go? The books of history, and build rulings. This is correct or not? La. Anybody who knows anything about fiqh would not do this. But la ba's, we found the narration. The narration is reported by Abu Dawud al-Sijistani in a book called Al-Mursalat. In a book called Al-Marasil. Abu Dawud al-Sijistani, the same author of As-Sunan, he has a book called Al-Marasil. Al-Marasil means all of the book is inauthentic. Because all of the chains of narration in this book have a break in them somewhere. This narration is reported by Abu Dawud al-Sijistani fil Marasil. And this narration is reported by Abu Dawud al-Sijistani fil Marasil and was mentioned by Al-Hafidh Ibn Hajar in Bulugh al-Maram. The narration is reported by Thawr, who reports it on the authority of Makhul, who said the Prophet ﷺ did. طيب? Pay attention with me. Thawr reports that Makhul said that the Prophet ﷺ used a catapult. صح? طيب. Who is Makhul? A companion? Makhul is a tabi'i. Makhul is a tabi'i, like a Zuhri. He's not even a major tabi'i, he's a small tabi'i. A small tabi'i means 90% of his teachers are tabi'een, and 5 or 10% are companions. So when Makhul says, the Prophet ﷺ said, the Prophet ﷺ did, the Prophet ﷺ anything, it is a 90 or 95% chance that he got this from who? The tabi'een. And a 5 or 10% chance that he got it from who? A companion. So which one now, if we only have this hadith in front of us, authentic or inauthentic? Right away we say inauthentic. Because the chain of narration is made out of gold. The whole chain of narration is the narrators from both Bukhari and Muslim, and one of them is from Muslim alone. Very good. But the problem is, Ya Fadilat al-Shaykh, Makhul never met the Prophet ﷺ a day in his life. As a matter of fact, he met the small companions, the companions who lived way after, like Wathil ibn al-Asqa and Anas ibn Malik and these people. Naam? طيب? The narration is also reported by Al-Uqayli. And it has a complete chain of narration leading up to Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu. What's the problem with this narration? In it is a man called Abdullah ibn Khirash. Imam al-Bukhari said in the Tarikh, he said, Munkar al-Hadith. This hadith is unacceptable. Munkar al-Hadith, yani we can't even use it for anything. Naam? Munkar al-Hadith. So now we have a chain going to Ali ibn Abi Talib. We're sure that this is what? Weak. As a matter of fact, some have called it mawdu', fabricated. Then we have one leading up to Makhul, but Makhul never met the Prophet ﷺ. Then we have one reported by At-Tirmidhi in his Sunan. طيب? As mentioned by Shaykh al-Bassam in Tawdi' al-Ahkam. In As-Sunan, on the authority of Thawr. Now we're missing Makhul. Now we got even further from the Prophet ﷺ. Naam? Now we're missing Makhul. So now it's even more inauthentic. Naam? Then we have another narration in Sunan Abi Dawood with an authentic chain of narration, as mentioned by Shaykh al-Bassam, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi Al-Awza'i, Abu Amr Abdul Rahman ibn Amr Al-Awza'i rahimahullah, asked Yahya ibn Abi Kathir. Yahya ibn Abi Kathir is a tabi'i, طيب, from the 5th tabaqa of the tabi'een. He asked him, he said, did you hear that the Prophet ﷺ used a catapult in this battle that we spoke about? Thaqif. Yahya ibn Abi Kathir said, I have not heard this and this wasn't heard. He said, no, and this wasn't heard of. So the narration is authentic or inauthentic? Huh? What do you think? What is your analysis? This narration is definitely inauthentic. And if you read Bulugh al-Maram, Ibn Hajar inauthenticates it himself in Bulugh al-Maram.